So today, guys, we're covering a story from Bradford about a man named Amriz Iqbal, also known as Major, from the Baker End area of Bradford. Major was a well-known and respected man in Bradford. A lot of people feared him. He taxed a lot of the local drug dealers in Bradford. Amriz built a name for himself in Bradford and had a lot of street cred. He made a lot of money and was living a lavish lifestyle. He was always taking trips to Dubai. Major was known as tough guy and never backed down from a fight. Footage will be played of Major fighting in a petrol station. Amriz Iqbal was on trial in 2010 alongside two other men for the murder of teenage man named Mohammed Raib, 19. Died after the attack, which was meant to avenge an assault earlier the same day on Mohammed Rohail, 23, of Sanford Road, Bradford Moor. Rohail, Amriz Iqbal, 32, of Curzon Road, Bradford Moor, and Ibra Sadiq, 26, of Fitzroy Road, Barker End, all denied murdering Mr. Raib. Rohail had received injuries after an altercation with Mr. Raib and another man. Mohammed Rohail recruited others to help him carry the threat out on Mohammed Raib. Later that night, Rohail set off, along with Iqbal and Sadiq, and two unidentified men to hunt down Mr. Raib. When Mr. Raib was walking with a friend in Sanford Road, Bradford Moor, saw the defendants, he feared trouble and shouted to his friend to run. The pair split up, and his friend Dilshad Hussain, who had run down an alley, was punched and kicked by the two unidentified men, said Mr. Campbell. In Gladstone Street, the prosecution says, witnesses saw Mr. Raib being kicked and hit with an object believed to be a brick. Different witnesses are said to have recognised one or more of the defendants as the men carrying out the attack. Rohail had armed himself with a kitchen knife and delivered the fatal blow to Mr. Raib, but that the victim was subjected to a joint assault by all three men. The teenager, who was stabbed 6 times, died later that night of his injuries. October 3rd, 2018 was the day Amriz Iqbal was attacked by a male wearing a balaclava and carrying what looked like a crowbar as he was unconscious and bleeding on a grassed area to the side of Sanford Road, Bradford Moor. Major was struck by a silver Kia Sedona on October 3rd, 2018. The vehicle was deliberately driven at him and his friend, Adnan Ahmed, by Bradford's well-known gangster Mohammed Nisar Khan, known as Meggy, with Tony Grant also known as Granty in the passenger seat. Adnan Ahmed said he saw a silver car but had no recollection of it striking him and Mr. Iqbal as they crossed the road together. All I can recall after this is waking up on the floor with a blanket over me, he said in a statement read to the packed courtroom. He continued, I don't know why this occurred. I have no issues with anyone at all. Yunus Khalifa said he had known Mr. Iqbal, known as Major, for 7 to 8 years. They chatted on Sanford Road for about 5 minutes shortly before Mr. Iqbal was fatally injured. He was in good spirits, happy and in good health, Mr. Khalifa stated. Mr. Khalifa said he went into his home nearby and heard a car speeding and doing what sounded like handbrake turns. A lot of people were passing the window, and he went to see what was happening. He saw 2 bodies on the ground and realised one of them was Major. He was completely unconscious and unresponsive, and there was a large pool of blood near his head. Mr. Khalifa said his friend's pulse was slow and weak. I was in shock. I have never witnessed anyone in the condition Major was in, he stated. Fawzia Iqbal saw 2 males walking down the road and then heard a loud bang. A male was in mid-air and hit the ground with a kind of bounce. A silver car drove off, stopped and reversed about 5 yards. A male got out of the side door wearing a balaclava and a hood and carrying what looked like a crowbar. He started to hit the male on the grassed area to his legs several times, she said. By this time, a large crowd had gathered. A second male was lying next to a parked car and he was breathing. Fard Massoud stated that he had known Major for about 25 years. He was a nice, polite, funny guy who would do anything for anybody, Mr. Massoud said. He had been in Dubai to set up a business project. Major died from a severe non-survivable blunt force head injury. The co-defendants of Meggie was a man named Nadim Khan and Salman Ismail, who helped Meggie and Tony Grant cover their tracks. At 11 p.m. on October 3, 2018, a window at the rear of the Whitehall Road service station, where Meggie and Grant refueled the Kia Sedona before Mr. Iqbal was killed, was broken. Mr. Moulton said there was a flash of light as two disguised males tried to set the kiosk on fire. When that failed, an attempt was made the following day to rob the CCTV from the kiosk, but the attendant chased two men in face masks away. Meggie Khan was sentenced to a minimum term of 26 years for the murder of Major.